The throne hall of the Zorid Empire was filled with light and sound. Golden pillars rose high into the ceiling. Alien nobles stood in long lines, their colorful robes shining under crystal lights. Soft music floated in the air. This was a day of celebration. At the center of the hall sat the queen, silent, powerful, watching everything. Near the far end of the hall stood someone who did not belong. He was an old human soldier. His armor was scratched and dull. The metal looked ancient, not polished like the gods around him. His back was slightly bent. His hair was gray, his face lined with age and quiet pain. He stood alone, hands behind his back, eyes calm. Many nobles stared at him. Some laughed. Others whispered. "What is that doing here?" One alien lord sneered. "A human," another laughed. "So old too." The spoiled alien princess stepped forward. She was young, tall, and beautiful by alien standards. Her armor was new and shining. Jewels rested on her shoulders. She smiled, but it was not kind. She walked slowly toward the old human, her boots echoing across the floor. "So this is a famous human guest," she said loudly. The hall grew quiet. Everyone watched. The old human did not move. The princess circled him like a hunter. She leaned close, sniffing the air. "You smell like rust and dust," she said. Laughter burst from the crowd. The human's face did not change. "Tell me, old man," the princess continued, her voice sharp, "did they bring you here as a joke, or as a warning of how weak humans have become?" More laughter. Some guards smiled. Others looked away, uncomfortable. The human soldier lifted his eyes slightly. He looked at the princess, not with anger, not with fear, but with something harder to understand. Pity, the princess noticed. Her smile faded for a moment. She straightened and laughed loudly again. "Do not look at me like that, human. You should be grateful. You stand in a palace you could never build." She tapped his old armor with one finger. "Is this even real metal?" she mocked. "Or something humans used before they learned they were not important?" The laughter grew louder. Still, the human said nothing. The queen watched from her throne. Her eyes narrowed slightly. An elder alien leaned toward another and whispered, "Why is the queen allowing this?" The other elder shook his head. "I do not know, but she looks tense." The princess stopped directly in front of the human. "Speak," she ordered. "Say something funny. Humans are good at that, yes?" Silence. The whole waited. The human remained still. The princess's face darkened. She did not like being ignored. She raised her hand. A nearby guard stepped forward, confused. "Move him," the princess said. "He stands too close to royalty." The guard hesitated. He looked at the human, then at the queen. The queen said nothing. Slowly, the guard reached for the old soldier's arm. Before he touched him, the human spoke. His voice was low. "Calm. Steady. This hall has not changed," the human said. The laughter stopped. The princess blinked. "What did you say?" The human looked around slowly, his eyes moving across the walls, the pillars, the ceiling. "The stones are newer," he continued, "but the shape is the same." A strange feeling moved through the room. An elder frowned. That design was lost centuries ago. The princess laughed again, but this time it sounded forced. "You think you know our history?" The human looked at her. "I was here," he said. The room fell silent. Someone gasped. The princess burst into loud laughter. "That is impossible. This palace is older than your entire species." The human did not argue. He only looked toward the throne. That was when the doors opened. The massive doors of the throne hall slowly parted. Every noble turned. The guard snapped to attention. The queen stood up. She walked forward, her long cloak flowing behind her. Each step echoed across the silent hall. Her eyes were locked on the old human soldier. The closer she came, the slower she walked. Her confident expression began to fade. When she was only a few steps away, she stopped. She stared at the human's armor. Her breath caught. The princess noticed. "Mother," she asked, confused. The queen did not answer. She looked at the symbol carved deep into the human's chest plate, a faded mark almost hidden by scratches. Her hands trembled slightly. The human met her eyes. Recognition flashed across the queen's face. Shock, fear, respect. She swallowed hard. Clear the hole, the queen whispered. Everyone froze. Clear the hole, she repeated, louder. Gasps filled the room. The princess stared in disbelief. Mother, why? He is just. Now, the queen commanded. The guards moved instantly. The nobles rushed toward the exits, confused and afraid. The princess remained standing, staring at the old human. The human did not move. The doors closed. Silence returned to the throne hall. The queen stood before the old human soldier. And for the first time in centuries, the ruler of the Tsarid Empire felt small. The throne hall was empty now. The laughter was gone. The music was gone. Only silence remained. The queen stood facing the old human soldier. Her guard stayed far back, nervous and alert. No one spoke. The princess broke the silence. Mother, she said sharply, why did you stop the ceremony for him? The queen did not answer. Her eyes were fixed on the symbol carved into the human's armor. The old soldier stood still. He did not bow. He did not kneel. He simply waited. Finally, the queen spoke. Do you know what that mark means? She asked her daughter. The princess scoffed. Some old human carving. It means nothing. The queen's voice grew cold. That mark means survival. The princess frowned. What? The queen turned slowly toward her daughter. Long before you were born, she said, before this empire was strong, the galaxy burned. The princess opened her mouth to interrupt, but the queen raised one hand. Listen, she ordered. The queen walked past the old soldier and stood near the center of the hall. Her voice echoed softly against the stone walls. There was a war no one likes to remember, she said, because we lost. The princess crossed her arms. We have never lost. The queen looked at her sharply. We almost went extinct. The princess froze. The queen continued. Our fleets were destroyed. Our allies fled. World after world fell. The enemy did not stop. They did not negotiate. They erased. The old soldier's eyes darkened slightly, but he remained silent. We begged for help, the queen said. No one came. She turned her head slightly toward the human. Except one species. The princess laughed nervously. Humans? Impossible. They were small, the queen said. Few ships. Weak weapons. Slow bodies. The queen clenched her fists. But they did not run. The hole felt colder. They stood between us and extinction, the queen said. On a dead world. No reinforcements. No escape. The princess shook her head. That is not in our records. The queen smiled bitterly. Because we erased it. The princess stepped back. Why would we do that? The queen's voice dropped. Because we were ashamed. The old soldier finally spoke again. You called at the last line, he said quietly. The queen closed her eyes. Yes, she whispered. The last line. The princess stared at him. You were there. The human nodded once. The queen turned to her daughter. Every fleet we sent failed, she said. Every hero died. She looked at the old soldier. Except him. The princess swallowed. One man. One unit. The queen corrected. Human shock infantry. They asked for nothing. No titles. No land. The human's voice was calm. We only asked for time. The queen nodded. They held the enemy for 3 days, she said. 3 days that saved our core worlds. The princess's voice trembled. And him. The queen looked at the old soldier. He held the final gate alone. Silence filled the hall. The princess laughed weakly. That is a lie. No one survives that. The human slowly removed one glove. His hand was covered in scars, burns, cuts, marks not made by age. They thought I died, he said. So did I. The queen stepped closer to him. I saw him fall, she said softly. I watched the explosion. I believed he was gone. She met his eyes. You walked out of fire. The princess's face was pale now. Then why are you here? She asked quietly. The human looked around the hall. Because this place exists, he said. Because you celebrate peace built on forgotten blood. The queen lowered her head. We erased humanity from the story, she said. We told ourselves it was easier. The human said nothing. The princess looked at him, really looked this time. Not weak, not broken, just tired. Why didn't you remind us? She asked. The human answered calmly. You stopped asking. The queen turned to her guards. Leave us, she ordered. They hesitated, then obeyed. Only 3 remained in the hall. The queen, the princess, the human. The queen inhaled deeply. The council arrives tomorrow, she said. They will see you. The human nodded slightly. The princess whispered. What will happen then? The human looked at her. That depends, he said, on whether the galaxy is ready to remember who saved it. The queen straightened her back. And if they are not? She asked. The human's eyes hardened for the first time. Then history, he said, will repeat itself. The princess felt fear for the first time in her life. Not fear of power, fear of forgetting. And somewhere deep in the palace, old alarms, silent for centuries, began to wake. The silence in the throne hall felt heavy. The princess stood still, her hands clenched. Her mind was racing, but her pride burned hotter than her fear. This is nonsense, she said suddenly. Her voice echoed. Old stories. Old lies. The queen turned toward her daughter slowly. Be careful, the queen warned. The princess ignored her. She walked toward the old human soldier again. This time, her steps were sharp and angry. You expect us to believe you saved the galaxy? She said. You? An old human with broken armor? The human did not answer. That made her angrier. You stand here, she continued, and you look at us like we owe you something. She stepped closer. Too close. I am the future of this empire, she said. You are the past. Forgotten. Weak. The queen raised her voice. Enough. But the princess did not stop. She shoved the human's chest with one hand. The sound was small, but the act was loud. The human took one step back. Only one. The queen gasped. What are you doing? The queen shouted. The princess laughed, trying to hide the shake in her voice. See, she said. He bleeds like anyone else. She turned to the empty hall, imagining the nobles watching. Heroes do not look like this. The human lifted his eyes slowly. For the first time, something changed in his expression. Not anger. Warning. Do not, he said quietly. The princess froze for half a second. Then she laughed. Do not what? She mocked. Fight me? She snapped her fingers. 2 guards entered the hall at once. Teach him respect, the princess ordered. The guards hesitated. They looked at the queen. The queen said nothing, but her silence was not permission. It was fear. One guard stepped forward anyway. Slowly. Sir, the guard said to human, please kneel. The human shook his head. I do not kneel, he said. The guard reached out. Before he could touch the human, the air in the hall changed. Lights flickered. A low hum filled the room, deep and old. The guards froze. What is that sound? The princess asked, her confidence slipping. The human looked down at the floor. You should not have touched me, he said. The hum grew louder. Symbols carved into the stone walls began to glow faintly. Ancient symbols. Forgotten symbols. The queen's eyes widened. No, she whispered. The princess stepped back. What is happening? The human raised his hand slowly. The hum stopped. Silence returned. The symbols faded. The guard staggered back, breathing hard. The princess stared at the human, her heart pounding. You did something, she said. You used technology. The human lowered his hand. This palace remembers, he said, even if you do not. The queen stepped forward. Those systems were never meant to activate, she said. They respond only to... She stopped. The princess turned toward her. To what? The queen swallowed. To command codes, she said softly. From the last line. The princess shook her head violently. That is impossible. The human looked at her. You erased the truth, he said, but you kept the locks. The princess screamed in frustration. "This is my empire," she shouted. "Guards, arrest him." More guards rushed in. This time, they did not hesitate. Weapons were raised. The human sighed, a tired sound. "I did not come here to fight," he said. "But you are forcing me." The queen shouted, "Stand down." The guards froze again, this time not from fear, but confusion. Their weapons powered down. One by one, the princess stared in horror. "My command outranks his," she screamed. The human turned toward her slowly. "You inherited a throne," he said. "I earn a line." He reached to his chest and pressed 2 fingers against the faded symbol. The symbol flared bright white. The floor shook. Deep beneath the palace, something ancient woke fully. Red warning lights flashed across the walls. A voice echoed through the hall. "Oh, mechanical, calm. Last line identified." The princess covered her ears. The queen dropped to one knee, without thinking. Her body moved before her mind. She looked up at the human. Tears filled her eyes. The princess stared at her mother in shock. "Mother, what are you doing?" The queen did not look away from the human. "Showing respect," she said. The voice spoke again. "Command authority confirmed." The human lowered his hand. The lights dimmed. The shaking stopped. The guards fell to one knee, breathing hard. The princess stood alone. Her confidence was gone. Her voice trembled. "You planned this." The human shook his head. "No," he said. "You did." He looked at her, not with anger, but disappointment. "You mocked a past you did not understand," he said. "You touched a line you did not know existed." The queen stood slowly. "The council will hear this," she said. "All of it." The princess whispered. "They will destroy him." The human looked toward the sealed doors of the hall. "They tried once," he said, "outside the palace. Ancient defense platforms began to turn. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy started listening to a human again. The throne hole light slowly returned to normal. The ancient systems went silent again. But the fear did not leave. The queen stood very still. The gods remained on one knee. The princess felt her leg shake, but she refused to kneel. "Tell them," the queen said softly. The human looked at her. "Tell them everything." The human took a slow breath. "I do not like remembering," he said, "but you deserve the truth." The walls around them faded as the palace screens turned on by themselves. Old images appeared in the air. Broken planets, burning fleets, dark shapes moving through space. The enemy had no name, the human said, because no one survived long enough to name them. The princess watched in silence. "They came without warning," he continued. "They did not speak. They did not demand surrender." The screen showed alien cities falling. "They erased worlds," the human said, "one by one." The queen closed her eyes. "We fought," she said, "and we failed." "Yes," the human agreed. "You failed." The princess looked at him sharply. The human did not soften his words. "Your fleets were strong," he said, "but you fought for glory." The images changed. Human ships appeared. Smaller, older, fewer. "We fought for time," the human said. The princess frowned. "Why?" "Because humans break," he said, "but we do not stop." The screen showed humans landing on a dead planet. Black soil, no sky, only fire above. "That was the last line," the queen whispered. The human nodded. "No retreat," he said. "No backup." The princess watched as the screen showed waves of enemies crashing into human lines. "They kept coming," the human said. "Endless." Human soldiers fell. More stepped forward. "They knew they would die," he continued. "They stayed anyway." The queen's voice trembled. "I ordered evacuation." "Yes," the human said. "You ran." The words hit hard. The princess clenched her fists. The images zoomed in. A single human unit remained. Burned armor. Broken weapons. "That was my unit," the human said. The screen showed the final moment. Explosions. Fire. Darkness. "They thought I died," he said quietly. The queen nodded slowly. I watched it happen, she said. I felt the war end. The human's voice dropped, but the enemy did not know one thing. The screen shifted again. The battlefield was silent. Then, movement. A single human stood up. The princess gasped. He was wounded. The human said, burned, bleeding. The screen showed enemies approaching again. I had no orders left, he continued. No command, no hope. The princess whispered, then why fight? The human looked at her. Because if I stopped, he said, everything stopped. The screen showed him fighting alone. One enemy, then another, then more. They learned something that day, the human said. The queen opened her eyes. What? She asked. That humans do not retreat when there is nothing left to protect, he said. We become the weapon. The final image froze. A massive explosion. Then nothing. The screens went dark. Silence filled the hole again. The princess swallowed hard. You survived, she said. The human nodded. I walked for days, he said. No food, no signal. The queen stepped closer. You never contacted us, she said. The human shook his head. You had already written us out of history, he said. The queen lowered her head. Yes, she whispered. The human turned toward the princess. You grew up in peace, he said, because humans died in silence. The princess felt something break inside her. Why come now? She asked. The human looked around the hole. Because the same patterns are returning, he said. Arrogance, forgetting, mockery. The queen straightened. You believe another war is coming, she said. The human nodded. And this time, he added, you will not survive without us. The princess whispered, will humans help again? The human looked at her for a long moment. That, he said calmly, depends on whether you kneel to truth or trip over pride. Outside the palace, distant stars flickered. Old enemies were waking, and the galaxy stood at the edge of memory once more. The throne hall felt different now. Not silent, respectful. The queen stood in the center of the hall, facing the old human soldier. The princess stood behind her, pale and shaking. The guards remained still, waiting. The queen took a slow breath. For centuries, she said, this empire has stood on a lie. Her voice echoed through the hall. We called ourselves survivors, she continued. We called ourselves strong. She turned her head slightly toward the princess. But we forgot who made that survival possible. The princess lowered her eyes. The queen stepped forward. One step, then another. The old human soldier did not move. The queen stopped just a few steps in front of him. Her hands trembled. I was young when the war ended, she said softly. I remember fire. I remember fear. She looked at his armor again. And I remember a human standing in flames, refusing to fall. The human's eyes stayed calm. You never thanked us, he said quietly. The queen nodded. No, she said. We erased you instead. She straightened her back. And that was our greatest shame. Slowly, very slowly, the queen lowered herself. The guards inhaled sharply. The princess gasped. The ruler of the Zared Empire bent her knee. Then both. She bowed her head fully before the old human soldier. The throne hole froze. Time itself seemed to stop. The princess stayed, unable to breathe. Mother, she whispered. The queen did not look back. She spoke clearly, her voice strong. I bow, she said, to the man who held the last line. Her words carried weight. I bow to the species we abandoned. The guards followed her movement. One by one, they dropped to one knee. Metal touched stone. The old human soldier looked around the hole. At the kneeling guards. At the bowed queen. At the shaking princess. Stand, he said calmly. The queen looked up. You do not owe me this, the human continued. You owe truth to your people. The queen rose slowly. I will give it, she said. She turned toward the princess. Kneel, she ordered. The princess froze. Her pride screamed inside her. I am royalty, the princess said weakly. The queen's voice hardened. You are a child who mocked a protector. The princess looked at the old human. She saw no hate in his eyes, only tired patience. Her knees gave way. She knelt. I did not know, the princess whispered. The human nodded once. Most do not, he said. That is why history repeats. The queen turned toward the sealed doors of the hall. Open them, she commanded. The doors slid apart. Nobles, elders, and council members stood outside, whispering in fear. Enter, the queen said. They rushed in. They stopped when they saw the guards kneeling, when they saw the princess on the floor, when they saw the old human soldier standing alone. The queen raised her voice. Witness, she said. She pointed toward the human. This man is the reason our empire exists. Gasps filled the hall. The council leaders stepped forward. That is impossible. The queen's eyes burned. Impossible is surviving extinction, she said. And he did that. The human spoke again. We did not win, he said. We endured. The queen nodded. And endurance saved us all. The princess lifted her head slightly. Why forgive us? She asked quietly. The human looked down at her. I am not here for forgiveness, he said. I am here to warn you. The council murmured. Warn us of what? Someone asked. The human looked toward the stars visible through the high windows. The same enemy thinking you are weak again, he said. Fear rippled through the hall. The queen clenched her fists. What do you ask of us? She asked. The human shook his head. I ask nothing, he said. Humans never did. He paused. But if the galaxy wants us to stand again, he added, it must remember who stood first. Silence followed. Then the queen spoke. From this day forward, she declared, humanity will be restored in our history. She looked at the human, not as servants, not as allies, as saviors. The human closed his eyes briefly. That is enough, he said. The queen stepped aside. She gestured toward the throne. It is yours, she said. The hall gasped again. The human laughed softly, a tired sound. I do not sit on thrones, he said. I stand at lines. He turned to leave. The queen called out. Will you stay? She asked. The human stopped at the door. I stayed once, he said. Longer than anyone remembers. He looked back one last time. Do not waste it again. He walked out of the throne hall. Behind him, the queen of the Zereth Empire remained standing, no longer above humanity, but beside it. The palace did not celebrate. There were no songs, no lights, no laughter, only whispers. The old human soldier had left the throne hall, but his presence remained. Every guard stood straighter. Every noble spoke softer. And the princess, she sat alone in her chamber. Her hands were shaking. She had mocked him. She had touched him. She had ordered him arrested, and the palace itself had answered him. She heard a soft sound behind her. The door opened. The queen entered. The princess stood quickly. Mother, sit, the queen said. Her voice was calm, but heavy. The princess obeyed. The queen walked to the window and looked at the stars. They are moving, the queen said. The princess swallowed. The defense platforms? Yes, the queen replied. They woke when he touched the symbol. The princess whispered. They obeyed him. The queen turned slowly. They recognize him, she said, as command. The princess's breath caught. That means she stopped. The queen finished the thought. That means the empire never fully belonged to us. Silence filled the room. The princess felt small. I did not know, she said again, weaker now. The queen stepped closer. Not knowing is not innocence, she said. Mockery is a choice. The princess lowered her head. The queen continued, You believe power was given by birth. She touched the princess's shoulder. But real power, she said, is carried. The princess looked up, tears in her eyes. Is he angry? She asked. The queen paused. No, she said. That is worse. The princess frowned. Worse. He is disappointed, the queen replied. Anger burns fast. Disappointment waits. A loud sound echoed outside. The princess jumped. What was that? She asked. The queen's expression darkened. A council emergency signal, she said, from the outer systems. They walked quickly through the halls. Screens turned on as they passed. Stars flickered red. Fleet icons vanished. The princess felt her heart race. This is happening now, she whispered. Yes, the queen said. The pattern he warned us about. They entered the command chamber. Council members argued loudly. Another world has gone silent. No distress call. No survivors. The queen raised her hand. Where's the human? She asked. A commander answered. He is leaving the palace. The princess shouted, Stop him. Everyone turned. The queen raised an eyebrow. Why? She asked. The princess hesitated. Because we need him, she said. The queen studied her daughter carefully. Do you? She asked. Or do you fear what happens without him? The princess did not answer. A new alert sounded. A massive symbol appeared on the main screen. The same shape carved into the human's armor. The room went silent. A voice echoed through the chamber. Last line protocol active. The princess felt cold. What does that mean? She asked. The queen answered slowly. It means humanity has noticed the threat. The council leader stammered, but we did not ask for help. The queen's voice was sharp. They never waited for permission before. The screen changed. Human ships appeared. Not many, not large, but moving fast, directly toward the danger. The princess whispered, They came anyway. Yes, the queen said. They always do. The princess remembered her laughter, her insults, her hand pushing his chest. Shame burned inside her. I was wrong, she said softly. The queen looked at her. Say it again, she demanded. I was wrong, the princess repeated. About him. About humans. The queen nodded. Good, she said. Fear begins there. The princess frowned. Fear? Yes, the queen said. Not fear of death. Fear of ignorance. The room shook slightly. Another system woke. Another ancient defense line toned. The princess felt tears fall. I thought humans were weak, she said. The queen placed a hand on her head. They are not strong because they cannot fall, she said. They are strong because they stand up after. The princess looked at the screen again. Human ships moved into enemy fire. Some vanished. Others kept moving. They are dying, she whispered. Yes, the queen said. Quietly. Again. The princess clenched her fists. Can I speak to him? She asked. The queen hesitated. Why? She asked. The princess took a deep breath. To apologize, she said. Not as a princess. She looked up. As someone who finally understands fear. The queen studied her for a long moment. Then she nodded. I will arrange it, she said. The princess exhaled. Outside the palace, the stars burned brighter. War had returned. And this time, the princess knew the truth. Humanity was not beneath her. Humanity was standing between her world and the dark. The space around the outer system was burning. Human ships moved through fire and debris. They were not the biggest. They were not the fastest. But they did not turn back. The old human soldier stood on the observation deck of a small command ship. His armor was gone now. He wore a simple uniform. His hands rested behind his back. Screens showed human fighters falling. Others moved forward. Always forward. A young human officer stepped beside him. So, she said, enemy pressure is increasing. The old soldier nodded. They always push harder when they realize fear does not work, he said. Behind them, a signal light blinked. Transmission request, the officer said, from the Zorit Empire. The old soldier was silent for a moment. Open it, he said. The image of the queen appeared. She stood straight, calm, no crown on her head. Beside her stood the princess. No jewels, no armor, no pride, only fear and resolve. The princess stepped forward. She hesitated. Then she bowed. Not halfway, not in form. Fully. I mocked you, she said. I was wrong. The old soldier watched her carefully. I thought power came from blood, she continued, but I saw where it truly comes from. She swallowed, from standing when others fall. The old soldier nodded once. That lesson costs lives, he said. Do not waste it. The princess met his eyes. I won't, she promised. The queen stepped forward. Our fleets are mobilizing, she said. We will stand with you this time. The old soldier allowed himself a small smile. Good, he said. Then fewer humans will die alone. The transmission ended. The young officer looked at him. Sir, she asked quietly, do you believe them? The old soldier looked back at the screen. I believe actions, he said, not words. An alarm sounded. Enemy surge detected. The officer shouted orders. Human ships formed a line. A familiar line. The last line. The old soldier stepped forward. All units, he said calmly, hold position. Explosions lit the dark. Ships were lost. But the line did not break. The enemy pushed harder. Still, the line held. In the palace, the princess watched the battle live. Her hands shook. They are dying for us, she whispered. The queen answered, they always did. The princess stood. Prepare our fleets, she ordered. We are joining the line. The queen watched her daughter carefully. You are choosing fear, she said. The princess shook her head. No, she said. I am choosing responsibility. The fleets launched. Alien ships move into formation behind the human line. For the first time in history, humanity was not alone at the front. Back on the command ship, sensors changed. The officer looked up. Sir, Allied fleets have arrived. The old soldier closed his eyes briefly. About time, he said. The enemy line wavered, then broke. The battle ended slowly, not with cheers, but with silence. After the fight, the old soldier stood alone again. The queen's ship docked nearby. She walked toward him. Behind her, the princess followed. The queen stopped a few steps away. She bowed, not as a ruler, as a survivor. The princess stepped forward. I wanted to thank you, she said. The old soldier shook his head. Thank the dead, he replied. Remember them. The princess nodded. I will, she said. The queen gestured to the stars. The galaxy will know the truth now, she said. About humanity. The old soldier looked out at space. We never asked to be known, he said. Only remembered. He turned toward the queen. Do not build statues, he added. Build memory. The queen placed a hand over her heart. I swear it, she said. The old soldier straightened his posture. He raised his hand to his brow. A human salute. The queen copied the motion. So did the princess. Across fleets, across worlds, the salute spread. Not to a man, but to a line. The last line. The old soldier turned away. He walked toward his ship. Not as a hero, not as a king, but as what humanity had always been. The ones who stand. When everyone else steps back,